describe Peckham in one word, what would that word be? Multicultural is my word for Peckham.
I will jump in with colourful.
Vibrant.
Fearless. Loud.
Busy. Changing. Messy. Resilient.
So in terms of like the Peckham Soap Opera, what would you say if you had to give 5 key aspects of what this soap opera should be, or should have, like the conventions of the soap opera? What would you say are so important that we need to have?
I think it's packaged in a certain way, but what it explores is actually quite boundless. So they can't swear because it's before the watershed, but they deal with issues like, domestic violence and huge issues that in this kind of safe package that's on at 7 p.m.
I think one thing that's really important in soap opera, like following on sort of from your point, is that you don't have to have seen like last week's episode to clock what's going on in that week's episode. Like it's just there, and like I said that like a soap opera is kind of like an iPhone. It's like the simplest form of like drama because it's got to be accessible to everybody and tell you, like lay everything out like in black and white and stuff, but still cause like controversy, like and try and mirror issues going on in everyday life without pushing it too much.
The funny one that we got was about changing characters midway without no explanation. The actor just changes, and it's like you're not going to tell us why they got fired, contracts ended, then you want to negotiate a new fee, more money. They went to Hollywood, but yeah, but they still keep that character. The actor changes.
The characters, like, hate some of them, you don't even know them. So, and you really like some of them, really feel sorry for them, you don't even know them. So it's like this exaggeration of the characters.
You know it's not real, but you really get attached to them and involved, which is what I like.
And you grow with them as well. Yeah.
He's called Doogie, and he's also known as Boogie because he wears loud shirts and because he really doesn't look like somebody who could dance, but he looks like he might have come out of a 1970s film. He's got stuck in a bit of a time warp. He's got quite strange hair as well, and so he imagines that it's quite badly receding, and so he's got a bit of a comb over, but nobody else can see it. And he's planning to get, in the future, a treatment from Bulgaria which will mean that he no longer has to worry about his hair. And he walks dogs for a living and does odd jobs quite badly, and so quite often you'll see him around, but since the recession his business has taken a bit of a dive, and he blames the recession for his business taking a dive, but in fact one of the dogs he was walking died and was never seen again, so people are suspicious that it was buried somewhere on the Rye and that he might have killed it.
Well, I just had a thought about a character. It was this old lady that I actually met in the street the other night. And she may have been in her 70s, and she asked me for £1 to go to McDonald's. And I just had to think about that and who she is and why she's there in the street at her age wanting £1 to go to McDonald's. And I just started to imagine, what could have been. And I thought she may. She was born and bred in Peckham, and she's really confused about why it's changed so much, because it's changed so much in the last few years, and she doesn't recognise anything that she knows. Also, I thought that she may have had a child that she lost, and that really was the beginning of the end for her. Her husband died later, and what she wants every day is just to bed for the night, but she's so confused that she can't remember where she's supposed to go, and sometimes she does remember, but it's just not a good life.
You want a soap opera that's kind of representative of like the culture in the area, but you also want it to, what would you say if you had to pick between making it realistic and bleak? Would you want it to be happy and joyful, or what do you think is the message that you'd like to give out about the area as opposed to what you think people think of the area?
I think you should try and avoid the blatant stereotypes, because the Peckham is a growing place and there is a diversity, and there's different types of people that have come into the area, and it should be reflective of that, because I think people are going to be expecting gun crime, stabbing, they're going to be expecting a certain type from the soap opera. So if you show the diversity that it's not just that perception, I think that makes sense.